Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit Sun conjunct one's natal Mars. Now, as far as this transit goes, remember that when you're talking about the Sun in transit, it's about our focus, our attention, our concentration of energy. And when the transit Sun hits your natal Mars, this could be very strong focus, attention, concentration of energy on actions. It could be initiative, drive. This could be, say if it's an Aquarius, it could be about taking initiative and action in humanitarian matters. It could be innovation, friendships. It could be one's goals or objectives. It's also about, it could be about taking the lead in a situation. Say if you have this in the zodiac sign Cancer, it could be in a family matter. If it's in the 8th house, it could be a family crisis. And it might be a time where you just kind of, whatever inhibitions might be there, apprehensions or any reluctance you may have had, you may discard that and toss it basically out the window. Now, it's also, Mars is about combat as well, and if there's something where um, you were somewhat, if you're a person's, even like if you're very timid or passive, this could be more of a time where you might be a little bit more confrontational, combative, more so than usual. More, you may be exhibiting more courage at this time because the Sun is about our focus. Mars is about courage, it's about battle, it's about combat. If you've been putting some kind of battle off or confrontation, this is the time where you might concentrate a lot of that energy into that at this moment. Now, also Mars is associated with the head, the face, and the skull. So in some cases, this could shine a light on some kind of injury to the head, to the face, to the skull. And this is, and also Mars is associated with the sexual organs, the private sector, basically. So just at this time, these are some things to look at, to be considered, to consider. And the transit lasts for about 5 days. If you're using a 3-degree applying conjunction to the transit to Mars from the Sun, and 2 degrees separating conjunction, that would be 5 degrees. The Sun moves approximately 1 degree per day, so you'd be looking at roughly 5 days of this transit. So could also be a time where you're putting a lot of emphasis on your energy, your vitality. It could be a very strong energetic period. You're talking about the Sun, which is about, and the Sun and Mars are both strongly connected with vitality and energy. The Sun is more creative energy and vitality, but Mars is more general energy at this time. And even if you got like, you have like a Pisces ascendant or Cancer ascendant, you have indicators in your chart where you don't exactly have an exorbitant or surfeit of energy, generally speaking. This could be a time where you might have a little bit more fuel, so to speak, than usual, a little bit more energy than usual. You may wind up surprising some people as a result. Remember too, Mars is also associated with surgery. It's associated with cuts, incisions. So this could be a time too, if you've been putting off some kind of surgery. Say if this is in Scorpio, it could be bladder. Um, Especially if you have your natal Mars in your 1st or your 6th house in your chart. The 1st house is, of course, associated with the physical body. The 6th house is associated with physical health related issues. The 8th house as well, you could consider, because the 8th house is the house associated with surgery. It could also be a time too where you might it might shine the light, so to speak, on headaches in some cases, whether they might be, figurative ones, they might be figurative irritations or things that exasperate you, or sometimes actual literal headaches. And especially, again, going back to if this is in the 1st or the 6th house, and if it's in the 6th house, especially if it makes an inconjunct aspect to your ascendant, that could be another indicator is inconjuncts are about, can often be and manifest in health related issues. Now, this transit also can shine the light, so to speak, on a contentious situation. If there's something like, say, you had something going on at home, which you might have thrown under the proverbial rug, or you blew it off, or didn't think it was really of much significance. This could show, it might shine light on some anger issues. Say if you have this in the fourth house on a family member, or a domestic situation. So it could be, it doesn't have to be a domestic situation, but if it's in the fourth house, it could increase that propensity for it. If you have it in the third house, it could be like a sibling or a neighbor or a cousin. But when you have the transit sun hitting the natal Mars, it could be something where some anger issue might come more to light, so to speak. And if it's something that you might have blown off and thought was trivial, this is the time where there may be more emphasis on it, and it actually is more exposed at this time, more so than usual. Now, another thing to remember, that the sun is associated with the biological father and children. Now, in some cases, this may manifest in the biological father, or a child may be causing some acrimony. The situation with one or both people might be may be more contentious than usual. If this is in Capricorn, say there might be arguments associated with politics or the government. In Sagittarius, it might be religious or philosophical differences you may be trying to work out with these people. Now, this is also a time, of course, where the energy may be very exorbitant, to say the least, at this time. But remember, when you're talking about very large energy, abundant energy, sometimes it can result in overexertion, taking on more than you can handle. Say, especially if you have a sign like Leo. You have Mars in Leo, and you're talking about which could reflect very high heat or fire levels, basically exorbitant heat levels, and you're outside, and you're talking about the sun. The sun is the sun. It's solar. It represents. You're talking about literally the heat from the sun, and it's making contact with Mars, the planet of energy and vitality. So you could do the math. Basically, if you're outside and it's like in a hot climate and you have this transit, be extra careful, because there may be a greater propensity for dehydration due to vigorous activity in the heat. And having the sun hitting you certainly does not help matters in this kind of a transit. Now, also too, Mars is about actions, activity. The sun is about shining. This could be a time where you might feel like you want to shine more in some sports related activity. Mars could be associated with sports. Sun is about how one may shine. Say if this falls in Scorpio, it could be very extreme sports. Say if it's in Libra, it might be something that the sport that requires balance, like gymnastics or tennis. Gemini could be quick responses like badminton or even volleyball, I would say. Uh, and also to any type of apprehension, again, or reluctance may be discarded at this time. This could be a time where you may exhibit a lot more courage, more so than usual, and surprise more people than usual because of this. Now, also too, remember that the sun is about our creativity, and if you're like a gunsmith, or you're in some profession where you're designing maybe some kind of weapons, this could be a very good period for you, because the sun is again about our creativity. Mars is about weapons, and it's also about cutting instruments as well. So this could be a very auspicious and favorable time period for somebody that designs cutting instruments like scissors or like box cutters. This could be a very beneficial and favorable period for those people if you are in that vocation that may call for it. Now, another thing too, this is something, or like if it's in Sagittarius, it could be hunting type of weapons, Cancer, the zodiac sign Cancer, and might be even cooking type of knives that one may have food preparation. Excuse me. Now, hold on a moment, people. Now, another thing too, this could also the guard against at this time being overly disputatious or becoming exasperated at people easily, because this could be a time if you don't have a way to constructively channel the surfite and abundance of energy, it might result in discord and strife with people at this time. So it's very important during this transit, because of the high energy level you might have, this is a time where you really need to find something more, constructive to channel this energy. Now, say if you have this in Pisces, this transit occurs in Pisces in your fifth house, for example, this could manifest in exhibiting certain creative energy, which is the sun, something that's hypothetical or fantastical, which is Pisces. Then the fifth house, Mars, could be about sports competition, and then you have the fifth house could be associated with games. So basically, I mean, it can be the design of some kind of simulated sports game or for people, and this is would be very good very good period if you're in that type of profession or you're designing those kind of games anyway. Well, and remember, a lot of this, whether this goes smoothly and whether this energy goes more constructively as opposed to negatively, a lot of that could be predicated and dependent on aspects that are made to points in your chart, say a sextile or trine to your natal Jupiter might act maybe more beneficial in putting in these actions that are associated with all this abundance of energy this time may be more fortuitous and be more prosperous. But say if you have this making an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, it may go the other way, and a lot of this energy may be done, and actions associated with this transit might be done with a lot harder work and more laborious effort than usual, and might be some delays in it as well. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.